Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining our Café Talk, the edition in May. As you know, or if you don't, if you are the first time here, we are live streaming this monthly Café Talk on YouTube. And we can start now. I will just give an overview of the activities that we have for today. So the coffee of the day will be given today by Bartosz. Thank you very much, Bartosz, for accepting our invitation. So probably you already know Bartosz. He's from the Directorate General Health and Food Safety at the European Commission, and he will talk today about the EU efforts to promote a common food loss and waste measurement methodology. Then we have the testing notes, so the time for you to ask the questions that you have, and we have for sure some Slido questions for you, so please don't forget to give us your tip. And at the end, as normally, we will present the next month specialties. So with this, Bartosz, I give the floor to you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me see if I can correctly manage the screen sharing activities. Okay. Share. Okay, could you confirm that my presentation is visible?
No, we don't see. We see your screen with the Zoom connection, but
again, sorry, it's too many screens. So let's see, maybe this is the right screen now, and then this is the right screen. And now?
Okay, now we see. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's go to talk. So I would say that the topic is interesting, but on the other hand, quite complex. So I will try to give more general overview and maybe leave to the questions to go more deeper. Because first, concerning on the food waste data collection in the EU, we have two types of data collection on two levels and for different purposes. We collect the data, I mean, we as European Commission, Eurostat, collect data from member states. So member states send the data to Eurostat, Eurostat validates them and publishes them. And we use this data, well, the aim is to measure progress within member states and to some extent to compare between member states. Of course, especially with the view to upcoming targets for member states for food waste reduction. On the other hand, most of what you have to see is the measurement and reporting data collection on business sector. But these are, I would say, not harmonized in the sense that they are national, sectoral, or individual initiatives, with the main aim of starting, the reason to start it is to improve and measure in business operation. So I will start from the second. So on EU action on business sector, we have no EU legislation and we do not plan anything. The key action which is conducted on EU level is knowledge sharing and dissemination of best practices. So that everyone who likes to measure food waste, who thinks that it is better for his entity to understand what's going on, how to compare to other entities, can go and see. Especially if you are interested in the measurement and reporting, we have dedicated subgroup on food waste monitoring. And here, if you like to see the examples of solutions when some stakeholders, some leading stakeholders share their experiences, then just go to the link below, so to the platform of food waste, subgroup on food loss and waste monitoring and see yourself for the right presentations. For example, I choose for an examples here self-reporting sectoral templates from Netherlands, presented in platform by Wageningen University. So it shows how how on national level it's organized, that the business reports to compare internally and then maybe in future to upscale that for national level. The other examples I would like to mention is International Food Waste Coalition, the measurement methodology in catering and hospitality. And again, this is kind of business sector self-harmonization of data. But EU is not involved in that, or not involved too much, for sure not on the level of legislation. On the other hand, on monitoring on food waste on EU level, of course, it's then done completely according to the EU rules. So we have delegated decision, setting common methodology and minimum quality requirements for measurement of food waste, which clearly describes what is to be measured. So what is food waste, which types of food waste needs to be reported, what should be excluded, the form of reporting. There is description how it is to be reported. So the procedure to ensure that reporting is done on an annual basis, but also requirement of quality data. Plus, there is description of voluntary reporting. So what, for the moment, we collect data on voluntary basis from member states. So it's either more detailed data on food waste, more granular data, like for instance, liquid waste, or what share of food waste is edible parts, plus some additional data important for food waste prevention policy in general. For instance, food donation, on food for feed. And the key issue, or key tool for harmonization, for better harmonization on EU level, is our decision laying down a format for reporting of data and submission of quality check reports. This quality check reports is a key tool for any further improvement, because the reporting itself is very simple. I mean, it's like a simple table which takes less than 5 minutes to fill. But then quality check reports is then again 15 pages describing how this data has been collected. And every annual reporting has to be accompanied by these quality check reports. They are sent then for Eurostat, which currently uses them as a help in validating the data. For the future, of course, it's a tool if we will go for further harmonization. So this is just to remind you that we are allowing measurement in a lot of ways. Simply, when the decision has been prepared, starting from 2017, we had no agreement if there is only one good method, silver bullet. Rather, we took methods existing in leading member states, providing acceptable level of evidence, and allow member states to continue to use them. So this is the situation for now. So what we receive in response here is the table from Eurostat with the data. I guess the basis for further indicators or so are just tons. And as for Eurostat, they are extremely careful when presenting. What I would like to show you that it's everywhere where there are doubts, they are usually footnotes and explanations that still something needs to be taken cautiously, because, for instance, this is estimates only, or the definition differ for some figures. On the other hand, all that exceptions are explained on the website of Eurostat. So if we speak about assessment of data quality, but I encourage you to just enter the Eurostat website with metadata for all this data reported. I took two information from this long description of metadata, how Eurostat assess the comparability of data between member states. So on geographical, it says the comparability across countries is good due to the clear statistical concepts and definitions. So all member states measures the same, or at least are expected to measure the same. Therefore, the comparability it is good. Comparability over time, well, we do not have time series yet. Reporting is mandatory. For the moment, I guess we started from 2020 with data available in 22. Yes, so we will still need 1 or 2 years to have, I would say, quality time series, the kind of full cycle of reporting to work on that further. Then I guess if you are following closely the food waste prevention, you should have seen the report from European Environment Agency launched this spring on prevention waste in Europe, progress and challenges. This report is issued every second year. With the 2025 report has a special focus on food waste. And there is also about 10 pages on food waste measurement, quality of data, etc. The conclusion there that, of course, it's we achieved more harmonized measuring process and improving methodologies for reporting, but again, still can be improved. And I guess that we still try to discuss a bit how we are intending to improve this in future. So what are the next steps? The immediate next step is that waste directive, and I mean it's this provision comes from already from 2018, that the Commission shall publish a report on the data collection. So the Commission shall review the data reported. It's including reporting on food waste, but also other waste stream. And the report shall assess the organization of data collection, sources of data, completeness, reliability, timeliness, consistency of the data, and may include recommendations for improvement. This report is currently being prepared by colleagues in DG Environment. We expect it will be published this year, and it will be the basis for any further works. Because I would say that we have kind of two streams of work. One is daily work, that in case that country has a question, sends an email, has doubts, then we, of course, work together with colleagues with Eurostat, with DG Environment on daily basis. But then we also think how we can improve in longer term. So that report can be yes, a background for further work. I expect that if this report will be published this year, so it means that next year we may start work about further harmonization of data on food waste. It's hard to say now what could be the direction, because it will depend on the recommendations, whether we should, for instance, set a specific minimum sample size, so how the member states should create the measurement on their respective territories. It very much depends on member states. In some cases, it's administrative data collection. In some cases, they are surveys. I would say this is it's very much also depends how member states collects the data on waste in general, not only on food waste, because these should be closely linked. So what are our challenges for the future in that respect? First, of course, it's need for data service. If we are to improve, we need to know what is to be improved. As I said, the idea of measurement of food waste is that reporting is on annual basis, but at least every 4 years there should be in-depth monitoring of each of the stages of the food supply chain. So we need at least the data from 4 years in a row to see twice these results of in-depth monitoring. Then what we need and intend to work for the future is, of course, to collect more detailed data for policy making. They are currently collected on voluntary basis, and the question is if we will be able, or rather, if the member states will be able to provide such data on obligatory basis, because they are then much more complex to collect and harder to harmonize. I mean specifically edible or avoidable fraction of total food waste. So what part is easily avoidable? The second issue is how much food waste is disposed via the sewer. Of course, it's mostly liquids, but not always. In some cases, in some member states, the problem with measurements is aggravated because such disposal it's forbidden in the law. So, of course, something is forbidden in the law does not mean that people does not throw away that way, but of course it makes them more problematic to measure it. And again, the challenge remains the better quality of comparability of the data. And I would like to say this is kind of endless process. For instance, for data on packaging waste collected since 1996, there is still improvement of data, of better harmonization, better comparability, better understanding from member states. And the tool of what exactly needs to be done, it's based on analysis of quality check reports. Also, the integration of data from business sector into national reporting is quite a challenge. On one hand, the data from business sector are very precise, very detailed, very granular, but they are not representative on national level. This is partly the thing we are trying also to discuss in the platform. That's why I mentioned, for instance, self-reporting or voluntary reporting. To what extent this data can be used to improve national reporting. In any case, I would like to underline that we have no intention to modify the basic measurement rules, that the content of what is being measured and how it's being reported is to remain the same. We are rather thinking about fine-tuning. So how to ensure that that what member states reports are better comparable. And I would like to say one more word, that the key information for us is actually not to compare member states between themselves. It is very interesting for politicians, I would say, and for media to see, okay, one country works better, other countries have less food waste, etc. But the key information from the EU level is rather how the country improves itself over time. So the key is to compare the measurement within one country over time, so we can see then if the country improves its food waste prevention policy, because the comparison between member states depends on a lot of factors. I mean, we have, for instance, the tourism seems to be a factor, the type of food consumed, the type of housing in the country, that it will be always complicated to compare two countries against each other. But what we are especially interested to measure from policy effectiveness point of view is if the country itself improves its policy efficiency of its policy over time. So that's all from me. thank you for listening me, and I'm ready to answer your questions.
Thank you very much, Bartosz. So please, if you have any question, you can turn on your microphone or you can write it in the chat. And until then, Bartosz, if I may ask, if I may start with a small question, because you showed these areas of improvement, and I was curious to know where do you think that it will be more difficult to improve in finding this or collecting this detailed data, or doing the quality assessment of the data?
I think, of course, the quality assessment, I do not see a very big technical problem as long as we have good data series. So the improvement of quality of comparability, it's rather depends on time. I would say it's inevitable, but just the question how much time do we need for that? When we have the data and when we will be able to analyze them and discuss with member states. While the issue of collecting more detailed data is, of course, for instance, for edible and avoidable fraction, is a question of common understanding what is edible or avoidable between member states. So yes, we need, of course, goodwill from all participants in the process, that they are to agree of kind of common list of things which are which should be reported as edible or avoidable. Again, I think it is possible, but I cannot guarantee it. And we found that it's so complex that we should go in current form for measuring of total food waste in order not to delay the process over several years. So we went for crude solution while still thinking how to improve it. The food disposed via the sewer, I feel it as a big issue, because simply the measurement methods are not yet there, which would be credible, comparable. I would say self-reporting from the people helps, but there is endless discussion to what extent self-reporting is credible, or whether sometimes it seems yes, sometimes it seems there is underestimation on that. So of course we would like to have also some independent or kind of technical methods, but we are not yet there. And I would say the data on these two issues collected on voluntarily basis are of, I would say, not enough quality to publish. Eurostat receives that data as a part of voluntary reporting, but for the moment they say that it is not good yet for that they wouldn't give them their quality stamp to be published as Eurostat.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. We also have a question in the chat. Will the amendment of Waste Framework Directive, if approved, going to change data collection requirements, or preserve them as they are now, following the roadmap shown today?
I would say first that not if approved, but when published, because I mean the thing is approved. The trialogue ensured in February that we have political agreement. The political agreement has been confirmed in Parliament, in the Environment Committee, in Council by the permanent representation heads. So what is left is now legal cleaning, translations, and then the formal adoption by Council, formal adoption by Parliament, publication, and of course then it will be up to member states to translate into their national policies. And answering the second part, no, it will not change the measurement. As I mentioned, we have no intention to modify the basic measurement rules. What is new in the proposal but let me see if I can find it somewhere in my screen. Okay, I'm now at the website of European Parliament, which for the purpose of voting, they published the current provisional agreement version. And I would like to show you specifically on the measurement. Oh, where is it? There was a lot of textiles, but I'm almost there. There is a new addition that when we have the rule on reporting, that the member states shall report the data concerning, now there is a new provision that member states shall make the quality check reports related to food waste publicly available. So this is a bit of new thing that what member states now sending to Eurostat, and I think Eurostat also published it when member states volunteer for publishing. I saw that on the website of Eurostat that there were information with these quality check reports, but now just after checking if there is no confidential business information there, the member states are to publish this quality check report. So everyone could see how his country or other countries collect and report the data. So I would say this is the key new item on measurement coming from new directive.
Yes, okay, and we have just very fast the last question in the chat. Considering that most data collection is a voluntary basis, is it fair to assume that the values on food waste in the EU are below the reality? Do you think that raising awareness either by sharing current values through media spots or educational campaign to the young adults could be part of the solution?
I would say that the data are not below the reality. Why is that? First, the data, I'm not sure to what extent we can say that they are reported voluntarily. I mean, again, on business level or from individual studies, they are reported on the individual basis. But then member states collecting that needs also to cross-check with their knowledge about food waste in general. And of course, food waste was a part of waste statistics since 2002. So the categories like animal and vegetal waste from industry or waste from households have been reported. Of course, they were not precise, not specifically on food waste, but you can, and Eurostat does it, and countries does it, cross-checking this data. So I don't think they are overestimated. You may know that also they are quite similar to the data reported earlier by Fusions project. That in Fusions project the numbers were higher even, but it was also to some extent because the Fusion project was very much influenced by UK data, and which was high above EU average. Plus, also they included estimates on food waste due to the sewer. So I would say the main source of underestimation would probably this food waste due to the sewer, which somehow escapes here, the waste statistics in general. But otherwise, I do not expect that the data are over or underreported currently. Although, yes, it happens that I understand we have seen that before in other waste streams. The better you measure, the more you find. So it is possible, but I don't expect that this will be significant number. There may be I would say they are also, for instance, there are challenges on monitoring of food waste from primary production. For instance, if they are small agriculture, they have always the question if their food waste should be counted as a household or as a primary production. It's in some countries when the number or a large number of small farms, this is a pertinent question. Some countries have problems with processing and manufacturing. We ask for tons of fresh mass, but what if the way food waste is drying quickly? So then something which goes to processing, it's much lower number than tons of fresh mass. And those assessment of drying may be different. But what is in the kitchen bin usually is then reflected in what you can find in composting plant or in landfill. So this should be similar. Again, here the challenge is how home composting. It should be reported as a part of normal waste statistics, but it not always is precise here. So yes, there's a lot of very small, I would maybe not very small, a lot of challenges and the different parts of the thing, but I do not expect them to change the general picture and to change the trend. So if the country starts to reduce, if we have more education, better understanding, then we expect that the trend will show it, that there is less food waste. And at least we can see that in countries which measures food waste over time. I mean, the Hungarian projects, I guess it was wasteless as well, no? Seem very
Yes, we are measuring
name.
also.
Yes, and the Netherlands data, the UK RAP, which measures it shows that yes, the numbers are going down. So yes, I'm optimistic in that respect.
Okay, Bartosz, we need to stop to go further with the structure of the monthly cafe talk. There is another question in the chat. If you may have a look and maybe answer shortly there. If not, we can stay at the end of the monthly cafe talk. But now I will give the floor to Sofia, just shortly for the Slido. So please stay with us some more minutes so that we can wrap up the cafe talk.
Yeah, this it will be a small tip. Now in the second edition, and as you are already used to, scan the QR code or go to slido.com and write the code 2027897. And you just need to describe in a word your take-home message. We really thank you if you can engage in the Slido. It will be very important for our report. I'm willing at least to get till 5, 6 participants. 6, yes. Great. 7. Wait a bit. We just have one more question and the other one is really fast, I think. So I think we have 9 engaged participants. Thank you very much. And the next question is, how do you rate Monthly Cafe Talk second edition so far?
This is the third monthly cafe talk from the second edition, and more will come until the end of the year. So stay with us and follow Wasteless.
Is the second, Minita, sorry.
It's the second monthly cafe talk of the, no, it's
Second
the third
edition.
of the second edition, yeah.
What happened to our 9th participant? Okay, so let's move on. Lumita, the screen is yours.
Yes. Okay. No more questions. Yeah. So thank you very much. I just want very fast to announce the next monthly Cafe Talks. In June, we will have a talk given by Thomas Kandel about learnings on consumer food waste in the hospitality and mass catering sector. And you already have the link in the chat. You can register for this event. Then we have in July a talk from Erika van Herpen from the Wageningen University, that Bartosz was mentioning before, regarding the AI to the rescue, a novel approach to measure plate leftovers. Then we will have the summer break in August, but we will come back in September, also with a presentation from the Wageningen University, but the title will be confirmed. So please follow Wasteless and stay in touch with what we are going to do in the next monthly Cafe Talk. And with this, I think we are okay. Bartosz, you already answered to the question. Thank you very much for your participation and for your time. It was really very informative and good to know. So I think it's fine, no? We can end the Cafe Talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I wish you a nice day